Welcome back. I'm still talking to Peter Esele, former president of the TUC. A while ago, you talked about indigenous companies being anti-union. We know that several companies employ all kinds of tricks to ensure their workers do not unionize. What options are open to those workers?
What I always say is that three things drive society. The family as a unit is number one. Number two is the judiciary. And number three is the media. Now, most of these workers want to go to court. But again, one of the biggest challenges that they face is that you can be in court for the next 5-10 years, and then you've already lost your job. Your means of livelihood is gone. So these workers even find it difficult to walk up to a union secretariat to say, hey, we want to be part of the union. I'll give an example. I'll give an example of myself where I said there is a problem with indigenous firm. I happen to work for a multinational, and we had no union. One of my bosses was fired. So that was when I decided, no, I need to join a union. And a couple of us decided to be part of Pengassan. But we had difficulty because the management don't always want unions in. But I also give that management the credit, because if it was probably a local company, I think I would have been sacked. But they were looking at me from the point that, okay, fine, he's good on his job, yes, and he has this is his right. One thing that is happening there is that the guys I was working with have a higher value. Their value system allow you to express yourself, allow you to be different. But our value system does not allow you to be different. And that is one very big key. You work in an organization, whoever is the owner or whoever is the chairman wants you to think the way he thinks. So there is no diversity of ideas. So, but fortunately, and that is what obtains in a whole lot of local companies. And people are now afraid to come out that, okay, even if I come out, I have somebody sent me a mail which I forwarded to the president of the construction workers. And the mail he sent me is working for a construction company. There is no collective bargaining agreement. He has no rights. So first is the court would have been the first place that they report to, by going to court. But you all know the way our cases are in this country, they will be there forever. The second would have been the media, because none of these companies like to be in the spotlight of the media, of anti-union, of anti-Nigerian. But also, unfortunately, the media too is sleeping.
Sometimes compromise.
Exactly. So when you have all of this, so the worker is actually in a catch-22 position. He's in the union, you're in trouble. You are not in the union, you're in trouble. So it's not left for every one of us, from the family unit to the judiciary to the media, for every one of us to stand up. Sometimes even the government is part of all of this problem. My dad was retired. How will you tell a man that I'm retiring you and you did not pay him gratuity? I was a teenager then, and I saw how his self-esteem started dropping because no means of livelihood, and he's been retired for like 6 months. And then I had to now go to the commissioner's office. Then I said, I'm not leaving this place.
So you've been at this for a long time.
Yes, that I'm not leaving this place. And only for me to discover, after that 1 week of going to, the week I went to protest to the commissioner, why are you not paying this? The following week, they started paying. But do we need to get to this level? That's why I talked about value system. Because when we have no value for ourselves, you can't value the next person, because you can't give what you don't have. That is a big problem. But what I keep telling them is just like our slogan in the union says, "A luta continua." We just have to keep going at it. And the Ministry of Labour that is also supposed to oversight some of these things, don't do it.
And talking about strikes, are strike actions the only weapons in the arsenal of the labor unions?
It is not.
But
because
every time there's a disagreement,
yes,
people threaten to down tools.
Yeah, because when you are dealing with people who are not ready to listen, what other choice do you have? Now, take for example, let me take you back to the refinery. You want to sell the refinery. The announcement was made by the Minister of Petroleum. The workers, who are also Nigerians, in that place, the unions who are also there, when there was no discussion with them. So you didn't have what we call stakeholder buy-in. And I'm telling you, not that the unions are afraid of privatization. I sat through the privatization of PHCN, power. And we said, government do X, Y, Z. Government agreed to do the X, Y, Z. And power today is privatized. NEPA is privatized. But they didn't strike. So in this case, same thing. So if you not hear people talking about, oh, we want to go on strike, it's because that's the only option. Not until Pengassi and Upeng not threatening that by January 1, they were going to shut down. That was when they were called for a meeting. So why must those in authority wait until strike threat or strike before something is done? As we just finished jazz now, ask yourself, agreement that was signed in 2009. In 2009. So why was it not implemented? If ASU had not gone on that long strike for 5 months, would it have been implemented? No. For us, I'm telling you, no union is happy to go on strike. But we just thought there is no choice because of the quality and the caliber of people you are dealing with here. Because if you think in terms of the man hour that you are going to lose, you think we don't think about it? We do. We do, yeah, we do think of the man hour. We do think of the risk involved. We do think of our safety. I'm happy some of our journalists who also join in all of our rallies. You know how many kilometers we have to trek? There are people who have health challenges who are part of that. There are people somewhere else who want to travel to XYZ, like the last strike we had, people who flew into the country but couldn't go to another place. They were all stuck at the airport. We all look at all of this. But when you are dealing with people who know that one of the painful aspects of our country is that because you know that whether you work or not, 2.4 million barrels every day, that's your production. So you know money will come from there, irrespective of whether anybody goes to work or not. So that has made us lazy, and we don't think from a composite perspective. But in other parts of the world, once you threaten that the strike is coming up, they know the amount of tax they will lose. They know what that will do to investment. They know the dangers that will come from healthcare. They will factor all of this and they will do everything to make sure you don't go on that strike. But in this part of the world, because we know whether civil servants go on strike or not, you are going to get oil money. So as a result of that, the workers now also know that that's the only language they will understand. Not really that the workers are happy to say, okay, we want to go on strike. No.
What do you say to people who, to this day, insist that the NLC and TUC sold out to government during the January 2013 petroleum subsidy strike?
They are entitled to their opinion. We are a country where you have 160 million people and 160 million voices. So there are also those who, with hindsight now, know that we made the right choice. Now, I always ask them, I'm going to speak, I have an event that some group of Nigerians invited me to also talk about this. I can talk freely now because I'm no longer the president. So it's easy for me to look at things and make some pronouncements, which I would not have made when I was the president. And the next thing was that we went after reduction of petrol. Petrol took us to go on strike. And then the next thing is that they said it should turn to a revolution. No, that was not what we came out for. So everybody has what he's looking for. But our original mission was not that. That's one. Then number two, I was elected by Nigerian workers. And those are the people that I'm responsible to. So if you hear after we called off the strike, any member of TUC accusing me of that, then I would have resigned immediately. But it was a National Executive Council decision that we pull out of that strike because things were getting out of hand. There are information that I'm privy to that every other person doesn't know. One part of my responsibility is to define reality as a leader. It's not for me to also now join the bandwagon. No. I must think things through. And when they say revolution, I now ask, and I told them then, I said, watch out for Egypt, watch out for Tunisia. The revolution we're talking about, Egypt is at the crossroad. It has been at the crossroad because those who were asking for revolution, I always ask them, I said, where is the structure? A revolution can only be defended by the revolutionaries. If we say we want a change of government, we want to kick all these people that we think that are not making life easy for us, but we must also put in place the structure to take over that power. But not that you expect the labor movement to chase away democratically elected government, and then somebody somewhere that we don't even know now take advantage of the opportunity. June 12th is what also played out. We know how June 12th protest, everything went on, and at the end of the day, we now had the military boys. And I've always said it would have been better if we even had a Shonekon who was interim, and is a civilian, easy for you to deal with. Then later, you now had the military, and they kept on rolling us like dice. So we made a decision, no single regret about it. We did what we know what was best for the country. And those who are also saying this, we also ask them, we are a trade union. And a trade union has what I call the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement is that we must sit at the table and talk. No matter the world, no matter whichever battle in the world, even the Second World War was resolved at the table. So we are not ready to come and tell you to convince anybody of our sincerity. But then we respect their views, and we also expect that they respect us too.
Peter Esele, thank you for your time. And I thank you for watching. Please join us again next week when View from the Top returns. But between now and then, let's continue the conversation online at channelstv.com. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.